United Rogue, welcome back. We're going to be wrapping up the last part of week 3 here tonight. We've got a good handful of matches coming your way. First, gonna start off with some Ramen Bowl action as the New Orleans Curse versus the Houston Flames. Joining him on the desk, the awesome Bill from Dawsonville. How's it going, man?
Oh, it's going great, Wasey. I am so excited to see this game. Two teams with a lot of talent, a lot of firepower, and both of them fighting for a solid place in the standings early in the season. I think we're going to get a great match today.
Yup, New Orleans are the upper hand coming into this, the overdogs coming into this matchup. They're sitting at 2-1 right now in the season. Houston 1-2. Let's not keep these two teams waiting any longer as we get right into it for game number 1. Who do you got?
I think, a lot of people are probably looking to New Orleans, and that's probably where I am too. Guerin has scored 23 goals in his 14 games so far this season. That is a unbelievable scoring clip, and I have a feeling we're going to see a similar performance from him tonight.
And on the other side of the pitch, for the side of Houston, we're looking at Miro, the highest salary, clocking in. See as these two Titans go head-to-head on the pitch already to start off game number 1. Houston bringing the fireworks over on the offensive side of the pitch, but it's quickly turned around. Truly end-to-end stuff here for the first couple of seconds, Bill.
Yeah, absolutely. As DeWolf puts one on Guerin with a huge save there up high to keep this game even at 0. A lot of pressure right now from Houston. They almost had a goal line save from Guerin. That's incredible plays early from both teams. Lots of great pressure. This is fantastic Rocket League.
Yep, Houston already a handful of good looks at the net. I mean, that ball just on the goal line. I think Houston not exactly getting a kick out of that one, but still keeping in the box for an extended period of time. That's going to leave New Orleans in a tough spot. They're running a bit low on boost as well, Bill. Golden opportunity for Houston if they can keep control of possession, but even that's a tall order.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I anticipate a lot of quick pressure changes on both sides. Houston really sustained there and then gives it up, and now New Orleans, like you said, were really on their heels, quick in transition, and now they're putting the pressure on. I have a feeling it's going to go both ways like that this game.
Yep, who's going to find the first? Both teams coming tantalizingly close. Couple minutes gone by. Houston seem like they have the slight upper hand, but could change on a dime. New Orleans, courtesy of Guerin. Downfield Corrupt is also there in the midfield looking for his time to strike. Off the backboard, no double tap this time around, and Houston able to keep themselves alive.
Yeah, both teams are playing such incredible lockdown D. We've seen some, really, really tough goal line saves from both teams. Bravo in all alone there. Little bit of a miss in the corner from New Orleans, and Houston gets on the board first.
What is that from Miro? He pinches it using a wave dash in the corner. Houston, the amount of creativity over on the offensive side of the pitch leaves New Orleans a little bit stumped. They have yet to respond for that first goal. Halftime in regulation for game number 1 as Guerin takes to the skies, looking to bring the pain to Houston, trying to force them back onto the backboard or into awkward spots on the near post. It's not quite happened. Crazy fake from Miro to bring it downfield.
Oh, yeah. I'm really loving what I'm seeing from Houston so far. I think, they probably know they're down a little bit, want to come out strong. They're not waiting to feel out New Orleans at all. They don't want to get New Orleans in a rhythm as Guerin goes and starts getting a rhythm going for New Orleans.
Beautifully played shot from Guerin. Eyes the one defender, and he's pre-jumped already. So Guerin places it low beautifully. And that's the equalizer. New Orleans have brought it back. And although Houston has had much more firepower in this game, much more shots, I want to say, New Orleans has had a handful of opportunities, and they make it count, Bill. Now they've got to hold on once again.
Yeah, absolutely. Making New Orleans make those saves early is a great strategy for Houston. This is a game that requires really, really fast fingers. And if you can get them tired, if you can get them ready to make the mental mistake, mess up the comms, get a little rough in the VC, that's where they're going to capitalize and be able to score some goals. So I really like what I'm seeing from Houston so far.
Yep, extended amount of pressure is where Houston has come to thrive. D-Wolf trying to do exactly that on the offensive end. This time around, New Orleans has the read. They're able to get those passing plays going just past the midfield line in order to break out. But the counterattack so quick, so deadly as Houston turn it back around once again. That midfield game, incredibly tough to manage.
Yeah, it's when you're going both directions, you know, it's really, really easy to get yourself tied up, get your axles going the wrong direction, and lose possession, get beat. And we're seeing both teams keeping it really, really tight. Like Corrupt broke up an incredible scoring opportunity on the other end by just having that perfect positioning when you're shadowing back. Can't overstate how important that is to getting a win, especially against an opponent as tough as.
Oh, still entirely dead equal here for game number 1. You gotta think whoever finds the next is gonna walk away with it. Certainly hoping New Orleans, that's the case for them. Garen over from the sidewall. He's got Corrupt and CXL in the midfield as well to work with. But this time around, it's D-Wolf and Miro instead. Miro, we saw the first setup from him. We saw the pinch on the near post. You know he's going to be looking to stake it into the back of New Orleans while he still can.
Oh, that was such a set piece little play from New Orleans there that DeWolf was able to break up. Those kind of things can be deadly this late in a match. Miro with another great stop on Garen. Houston really coming to play on D. Everyone's getting involved. A very shutdown performance as we go into overtime in game 1 here. I'm loving what I'm seeing so far.
Truly bonkers for game number 1. You gotta think if we get any more repeats of this, we're set for game 5, Bill. But first, who can set the precedent for this series? Already, New Orleans coming off with the initial possession of the kickoff, but not going to be able to hold on to for too long as they try to make a few satisfactory touches to their corner just to keep the play alive. Houston starting to bring the pain. They got the boost advantage as well. Could be a great opportunity for them, Bill.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're doing a really good job of shutting down New Orleans' chances. Like, New Orleans is definitely getting chances, obviously. And, you know, both Garen and Corrupt got 3 shots on goal right now. But when you're looking at the stats in the past, Garen would be expecting to be about 4 or 5 shots. You know, they're keeping that number down, and that's what's allowing them to stay in this game. Both teams, though, are so tight right now on D. Ooh, Bravo getting a decent look. Not broke it up, though.
You're right. That midfield, that defense game has been impenetrable on either side of the pitch, really. See if New Orleans can change that. First, they've got to break out of their own half. Bit of a dicey touch as Garen keeps the play alive. Has to rely on CXL to bail him out this time around. And that's where New Orleans has come to thrive on the defense. If one player comes up empty, there's always another one back, Bill. And Houston having a tough time figuring the squad out.
Yeah, I think New Orleans, to me, took a little bit longer to feel out Houston. Like you said, they came out of the gate really creative, but Houston has been felt out a bit, and we're always seeing someone there to defuse the goal. No one ever gets that open look on goal for New Orleans since Houston cracked them the first time. They've always had someone there. That's a really, really tight game being played on their back 50.
And you gotta think one mistake at this point will be the first to lock out game number 1. Houston over on the offensive end does toss her around to the defense a little bit, gives D-Wolf a good opportunity at net. And Houston now continuing to build the pressure. This is where they thrive. This is how they score that first goal. Insurmountable pressure eventually caused New Orleans to cave. This could be another Bravo. No. Turned away by Garen.
Incredible defending. They had a 3-on-1 there, and Garen stayed strong, read the play right. What a fantastic save.
Absolutely ridiculous. And now Houston has turned it around. They scored first here in game number 1. They're gonna do it again here in overtime. It's Miro and Bravo. They get it done.
Yeah, that is a textbook performance from Houston on how to stay in sync, keep the pressure on. You know, they had to fight off some stuff, but they really drove the play there, especially towards the end in OT. They were making New Orleans make the saves. And that's how you're going to have to score on a team that's this tight, where you have a player like Garen who could put up 5 saves and still be, you know, the lone goal for his team. A fantastic performance from New Orleans. I expect them to answer maybe a little bit harder on the offense next game, but Houston's got to be happy with that.
And of course, it's Miro and Bravo. Now, Bill, we were talking a little bit about the statistics prior to this game. We noted that Miro was doing a lot of the setup work and Bravo was doing a lot of the scoring. It seems that trend has repeated with Miro and Bravo, both 100% goal participation over the course of game number 1. New Orleans gonna have to figure it out, but with how close this game has been, wouldn't be too surprised to see them answer back
Yeah,
quickly.
absolutely. And if I'm New Orleans, you absolutely have to shut down that duo of Miro and Bravo. Like, they are clearly in sync, but you got to be a little bit worried. DeWolf had 4 shots on goal that game. That's someone that's hungry. You got to be worried about maybe focusing too much on one player, giving him a little bit of room to start shining.
Game number 2, Houston looking to keep the ball rolling. New Orleans, can they stem the bleeding? While they still can. CXL already off the kickoff is too corrupt, and they already open the scoreboard. 5 seconds in a first.
There you go. Like I said, I bet they're going to try to come a little bit harder on offense, and that's exactly what they do. Fast pressure, set piece play. Perfect outcome for New Orleans to start game 2 and send a statement that it's not going to be a cakewalk for Houston from here on out.
Yep, it's the first lead that New Orleans has had all series long. Houston now on the back foot. What can they do? Miro and Bravo, the duo that we're going to be looking at. Bravo once again in the midfield, but this time around Miro not going to find the setup opportunity he was looking for. Still New Orleans in a bit of a tough spot here. They've got 2 players on the near post, and one of them has been taken off the pitch. Houston, no, they can't quite do it.
Oh, Bravo, it's such a great opportunity there. Couldn't beat the post, had everyone on New Orleans beat, and they respond perfectly. When you break up the chance at one end, got an opportunity to push at the other. It's exactly what we see from New Orleans there to take a 2-goal lead really early in this game, too.
Yep, they're coming out swinging, Bill, and Houston at a loss for words. DeWolf, he's the player we're also looking at. Aside from this duo, you mentioned that if he gets a little bit of space with those 4 shots back in game number 1, an incredibly deadly force. I've still yet to see that happen here in game number 2, though, for Houston, as Miro from the corner looking to get it back to one of his teammates, hoping that they can keep New Orleans at bay and prevent them from scoring a third.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of a miscommunication, I think, on offense there from New Orleans. And had that not happened, I think Houston's pretty lucky there, because New Orleans could be up 3-0. And that's a tough deficit, even this early in the game. You can't ever count anybody out. But a little bit of a defensive breakdown from Houston there that they luckily survived.
Now Houston trying to break out once again, but with 2 D players, Bravo can only stick in a peripheral challenge. Oh, he's got the double tap, as Houston already starting to bring the pain, but nothing has stuck. They're throwing everything at the wall, Bill, and seems like New Orleans just always have the answer. In the midfield once again, Houston trying to make it work. Bravo can't quite get there.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that, we were talking about it in the intermission there, about how good Miro has been setting people up on his team this season so far. But I'm seeing some opportunities where I think that New Orleans knows a little bit that means Miro's not quite going to go for it as much. And if they have a full 3-piece going, heavy pressure on offense, I think that's the only way they're going to really get goals in this game. And they need them as we come to halftime here.
Oh, they need him to come up huge. DeWolf still cannot put it away. So many good looks from Houston. None of them have resulted in a goal. In fact, New Orleans, like you mentioned earlier, deadlocked tight defense has been the name of the game. Garrett Toppins, no one's home.
Absolutely. And CL gets 3 assists now on the game. Incredible. Just a fantastic passing play there. This is a brutal score line for Houston. They gotta find something here. Hopefully we can see them switch it up a little bit, but maybe not.
Yeah, things just went from bad to worse. I think it's pretty safe to say that it's curtains for game number 2. Houston need nothing short of a small miracle to begin crawling back into this game. Do they still have it? It's going to take a couple good kickoffs, a couple good possessions. Corrupt and Bravo going at it. Neutral kickoff is not exactly what Houston is looking for this time around, but they can make it work, Bill.
Yeah, I think, well, they almost had it there. I think that, I mean, there's not much you can do. I kind of want to see Houston play maybe a little bit more physical, maybe get some demos on, get some bumping, you know, finish your rotation, go through the goal, try to put something together, because what they're doing right now just is not working.
Yeah, they've done their best, especially on the offensive. Miro on the near post is truly a deadly force, and once again he proves his mettle. Houston find a first, but is it too little too late, Bill?
I don't think it's ever too little too late when it's a series. You're up 1-0 in a series. At this point in time, you know, if you lose a game, hey, you lose a game. You got another opportunity. But what matters is sending a message that you're not out, and that, you know, if it comes down to the wire, if you're in an elimination game, that, you know, you're not ever out. You're willing to get the goal 5 seconds left. You don't care. You know, you'll sit there and watch the whole replay. You know, sometimes you just got to send that statement when you know you're playing the exact same guys a minute after this game ends.
Another good statement here would be scoring a goal. Houston once again in a golden opportunity spot. Guerin has to put in overtime to clear it out into the corner. Now counterattack out as well. That's on target. Should be good for fifth. New Orleans unstoppable and a hat trick for Guerin.
Yeah, that's 4 for Guerin. And every single play that's resulted in a goal for New Orleans has come with an assist. So all 5 assisted. That's, you know, solid team play here. And I also would like to add, of course, Houston still down, but I did call it. I think when Miro gets a little bit more involved on the offensive side, it's going to mess up New Orleans a little bit, and we'll see them able to penetrate and goal. And that's exactly what happened for Miro to get his first goal of the series.
Need to see some more of that magic here, but with only a couple seconds taking down in game number 2, you gotta think that had to be a goal. Thankfully, they get it back quickly enough, still trailing by 3. Handful of good kickoffs and good possessions are what they need, but it's gotta come quick.
Yeah, hey, you know, sometimes you can just open the window in moments like this and get a couple quick ones. So, you know, maybe Houston wants that, but I think even if they don't, they've at least sent the message that we weren't seeing in the first couple minutes, that they can respond, that they can handle the pressure that New Orleans is putting on, that they can get some saves, they can get some plays, and they can score some goals. You know, what matters the most at the end of the day here.
They're getting the saves for sure. The offensive attempts certainly there as well on the side of Houston. But with game number 2 coming to a close, it appears that this series is equal. What a phenomenal response from New Orleans. After a very close loss in game number 1, they came out swinging, and now they are truly on another level.
Yeah, I mean, that Guerin put on a bit of an offensive showcase there, obviously, but every member in New Orleans was really clicking. You know, maybe they're calling that first one a warm-up. You know, Houston can't be understated. Houston just got a 0-second goal there. Sure, New Orleans is up. Probably don't care that much, but you know, that's momentum from them. They got to bring that in game 3, because if they're not 100% pedal to the metal from here on out, I think New Orleans might walk away with this the way they just played.
Yep, it can definitely get scary for Houston if they're not able to stem the bleeding right now, but they can at least hold a lot of solace to the fact that they've got the creativity on their side. I mean, Miro as well, once again, offensive powerhouse. Is he able to channel that, find a way to stick it into the back of New Orleans? We saw the demolitions as well, but not too much here and there. New Orleans have more or less done very well to keep their heads on a swivel, make sure that's not too much of a threat. You can see lots of signs of life for Houston here to make the comeback in game number 3.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and Houston is, you know, not playing their number 1 goal scorer, is also their number 1 demoer. You know, this is DeWiff's first match. So, you know, same as we didn't necessarily see the best out of New Orleans in the first game. Maybe we didn't see the best out of Houston here. They're still finding some rhythm as a group. But again, I liked how they were playing towards the end, and I think that if they do that, we're going to have a much more balanced game 3.
At the beginning of game number 3, Houston trying to find that early lead. That's where they thrived the most. Back in game number 1, they were able to hold on to it quite a bit before New Orleans answered back. They're certainly going to be looking to replicate that here. Off the kickoff, Houston is a possession once again where they thrive. Bravo coming in deep, trying to deprive New Orleans of those resources, and he's done quite well given that Garen is now completely empty on boost. Prevents them from getting that offense going, which is already a victory on its own, Bill.
Yeah, anything you can do to break up the plays, because they were playing very locked in throughout the last game. The more they can deprive New Orleans of that ability to drive the play and do what they want with the ball, the better a time they're going to have. Like you just said, I think Houston so far plays a lot better with the ball than without it, and the more they keep the ball.
Wait, Miro?
Oh, incredible pre-jumping there. If that had worked for Houston, I'd go right back to talking about what you were talking about during game 1 about Houston's creativity. That was a beautiful play from Miro to get up there and try to get that shot on.
Incredibly aggressive from Houston, and you gotta hope that it doesn't strike them in the back. Looks like they've got the situation under control from now. In the corner is D-Wolf, and Miro looking for the demo. No, he can't find it as the last player from New Orleans cuts, finds an early challenge, but still they've got to hold the test of time. Bravo and D-Wolf both commit deep. Could be an opening for New Orleans, but Miro's back.
Yeah, Houston, like you said, they're playing up, and that's a risky, situation. I think it's probably what they have to do here. But I'm also liking the consistency that they're getting back with. They're playing aggressive, but they're playing aggressive on both ends. They got fast retreats, strong play, great demo from Miro up there. Exactly what I'm talking about. Making sure that you can have 3 men up, and you're diffusing their play back while you're retreating, so that you don't have to worry about getting caught out.
And speaking of which, Houston is going hard on this boost deals. I mean, you can see them committing deep into the corner as well, depriving New Orleans of resources, and that's kept New Orleans at bay a lot. Compared to game number 2, New Orleans don't look like they've got the same firepower. Corrupt looking to change that, though. It's over to Bravo, who's able to intercept and keep the play going. Over to Miro. Miro and Bravo once again. This powerful duo absolutely tore it up during game number 1. They're looking to do it again here, Bill.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these are 2 guys that clearly are in sync when they play. Both of these teams are really denying any kind of offensive consistency. We're seeing so much, 200-foot Rocket League going both ways.
But still, New Orleans, you gotta be careful. If you give them an inch, they're gonna take a mile. Houston giving extra attention to that fact. But for the time being, New Orleans coming on top. They're winning the challenges in the midfield, but a massive bump opening up the playing field for Houston now. Ton of space in the midfield to cut down. Bravo is able to get the job done. Still, ball hanging around, quite dangerous. Houston can't make the opportunity that I want to.
Yeah, and this is what we're seeing from Houston here is much more game 1, and from New Orleans as well. They're spending a little bit more time back on their heels. They're not as consistent. Oh, that was a close one from Bravo to take the first goal and keep that game 1 theme running.
I mean, you can't really get much more even than this, Bill. Once again, one mistake is what's going to get it done here in game number 3. The battle for match point could not be tighter. Garen over on the offensive side of the pitch. He's looking for Corrupt here in the midfield. Corrupt taking his time to challenge, making sure that Houston runs out of boost, but Miro's able to get it surprisingly far with what little he had. And that's going to be a little worried, but it does not matter. Massive demolition courtesy of CXL. Beautifully played from New Orleans. Now Houston They've been doing well to keep an eye out for these demolitions over the course of this series. And at the one time where it really counted, CXL able to find his target over on the inside of the net. Houston, quick counterattack here as it's Bravo over to Miro as well. All three players getting involved. A massive passing play goes absolutely nowhere. Houston in a bit of a dire spot, Bill.
Yeah, this is a tough situation. You got 10 seconds left. You kind of got to go all out. Kind of got to create a lot of chaos to get goals in these moments usually. Ooh, but that's kind of what New Orleans is doing. New Orleans looks like the team that's down right now. The way that they were flying in there. Oh, so close to getting that last second equalizer for Houston. But now New Orleans takes the 2-1 lead. They got one more win to close this out. Who are you looking at in game 4?
That's a very tough question. I mean, I'm looking a lot at CXL here. He's been the leading. I mean, we saw the demolition from him. As long as Houston is able to keep CXL out of their front line, I imagine that they will have a much better chance at closing or at least getting the series closer. Houston, though, I mean, we're talking mostly 1-goal games here. And it's really just one small thing that does them in. As long as they are able to deprive New Orleans of those boost resources like we talked about at the beginning of game number 3, then they're in a pretty golden spot.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Houston, the way they played that game, obviously it was a last 40 seconds, last minute kind of loss that they took. They got to be happy with the amount of pressure they pulled, the amount that they could get back on D, the amount they could diffuse plays from New Orleans. I think I want to see them play a little bit more physical, get in New Orleans business a little bit more. Miro scored that first goal in game 2 to kind of put them on the map at all by getting way up in tight in the goal, making it hard for them to defend. I think that's what has been missing. Houston feels like they're playing a little bit softer. They're playing a little bit more of a finesse game, but so far it's not really paying off.
Yeah, and that's what's tough, right? Houston is used to having Oyebu as their leading demolition artist over on the offensive side of the pitch. And now D-Wolf trying to fill those shoes. It's a very tall order. He's done well to fill those boots for the most part, but that extra kick is what's necessary for Houston to come out on top here in game number 4. Their backs are against the wall if they want to break even in their record and send themselves to 2-2. They got to find a win here in game number 4, and already New Orleans trying to come up with a quick possession. Houston, though, doing well to keep them locked inside their own half.
Yeah, this is the kind of start you want. It's not, you're not getting a super early goal, but you're not giving anything up. You're responding properly. Good rhythm. Everyone in Houston's been involved in the play. It's been consistent across all 3 players, which is, this is not a team in New Orleans that you're going to beat with 1 or 2 people, playing on. You need a full 3-man roster playing at their best to win this.
New Orleans in a great spot. What? How on earth is that not a goal? I think it was about as open as it could be, Bill. New Orleans, though, golden opportunity gone to the wayside.
Yeah, if that's Houston, that's kind of the moments that you want to see, though. That was a bit of a double, a bit of a miscommunication, misplay call on the part of New Orleans. That's what you want right now. You want New Orleans to feel cocky. You want them doing stupid stuff. You want them making little mistakes like that because you didn't get to capitalize there, but you're going to get to capitalize eventually, or will you? Aaron just addicted to goals this series.
And CXL, my goodness, he was the leading force of the first goal back in game number 3. In fact, the game winner with that demolition. And now he has set up Garen with a pinch off the corner. How on earth he's getting the perfect placement there is truly beyond me. But New Orleans, nevertheless, the creativity gets the job done. Usually, Houston saying that's the strength of Houston. From that pre-jump earlier, I remember we were talking about, if they're able to pull up something marvelous like that, then my goodness, we could be in for a lot closer of a game number 4.
Yeah, but they're just having trouble converting in front of the net. Their plays are a little bit too easy to read. someone from New Orleans is always there. If it's not Garen, it's Corrupt. It's not Corrupt, it's CL. Uh, you know, they're doing a lot of creative things, but I think they're doing creative things that we're all kind of watching in real time. And I'd kind of like to see them do a little bit more simple. Like New Orleans is doing things that, we all know are coming. Throw it downfield, guy puts a heavy shot on, give it to a carry on the wing, comes in with the flick. These are expected plays. They're just executing them really, really tightly. And I definitely appreciate as a fan the way Houston plays, but gotta wonder if they play a little bit more of a direct game, if they could see a little bit better outcome.
New Orleans, on the other hand, truly an unstoppable force. I mean, talk about Garen. He's 2 for 2 here in game number 4. Every shot he touches just turns to gold. Call him Midas, the way he's been performing. New Orleans, Corrupt, and CXL. That's downfield, nearly on, as Miro able to turn that away off of his own crossbar. Houston keeping themselves alive by a Threadville.
Yeah, they're still in this game is a testament to their ability and what I hope is calm heads in the VC and a good team cohesion. But this is just such a difficult team to play against, a team where you're only scoring goals when they make mistakes, and they are just not making enough mistakes.
Yeah, New Orleans, he simply cannot run a tighter ship than this. Once again, Garen over towards the midfield. He's going to be credited for putting it away, as it's Corrupt as well, getting involved over on the offensive side of the pitch, getting the job done with the last beat, and now he's 3 for 3. My goodness, what a way to put up a hat trick here in game number 4.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic performance from Garen. I think that's 7, 8, maybe 9 goals in 4
Man,
games.
I can't even count that high.
I'm struggling to remember 100% of them, but I mean, it's just such a high-flying offensive performance as CL comes in
No
and
way.
hits another one.
Wow.
This has got to be the dagger from New Orleans.
What?
Such a rough one from Houston. And watching this performance, I know they're not playing this, but I really want to give it to Maui, who managed to win 3-1 against New Orleans, because this team is just on fire right now. And I think this takes Garen almost to 2 goals per game, close to it. Just a crazy stat line from him.
Not over yet, though. New Orleans can't start celebrating too soon. Houston, back in game number 3. They did keep it pretty close, but this time around, not gonna be the same case. New Orleans! Exclamation mark at the end of the sentence right off the kickoff. They claim what they have just lost with that 4-goal lead once again in their hands. Houston thought they could get it back, but a quick answer says no.
Yeah, Garen not allowing Houston to really rest on their laurels in any moment. They've not had a single opportunity since maybe the first 30 seconds to a minute of game 1
Oh, jeez.
to calm down, to collect it. Garen has led the offensive charge here, but this is just brutal for New Orleans.
Yeah, 3 goals. They call that a hat trick. 4 goals, a poker. 5 goals. Did you know? It's called a flush.
I did not know that.
Well, actually, I'm not. I'm not 100% sure about that. I've just heard it here and there. So, that being said, a flush for Garen, the highest salary player in this lobby, has come to play. And more than that, he's come to win a victory lap for New Orleans as they advance to 3-1 here in this regular season.
Yep, are they gonna get another one here? No, it's gonna touchdown, and New Orleans takes such a decisive victory. What a forceful performance from Garen, especially in that game 4. That was someone who single-mindedly wanted to close that out.
Yup, kudos to New Orleans here. And chat, don't go anywhere. We got another game coming up just shortly. This one's going to be Linguini. The Pittsburgh Phantoms and the Carolina Reapers take each other on at the top of the hour, so don't go anywhere.